On a bright and sunny or a rainy day, I can listen to Rene. Topics of the day: why sex don't match the love, our relationship sucks, why the boys play, experience immaturity, politics and currency gains, economics, Spotify it, you can find it, sign of the times for the deaf, dumb and blind. Don't miss it, call the number one, state your name and what's your interest. Rene.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Rene. Good evening, and I hope you all have had a great week up to this point, because I'm about to make it even better. So, this is your girl. It's the Rene Show, and listen, I am the podcast girl with sugar and spice and sometimes a little bit of niceness, and pretty much it's just whatever I want to basically talk about as far as the topics that seem to interest me. So, listen, I want to just start off by saying, again, welcome to the Rene Show, and if you are tuned in right now, that is great. If you I don't want to say I definitely want to say if you are loving the show so far, if you are now a fan of mine and you want to show love and support, then please definitely follow me on IG at _KRene Show. You can also check me out and follow me on Facebook as Kelly Rene. That is Kelly with a Y, Rene. And also, definitely check me out. Tune in 94.5 The Blaze. Of course, I'm also all over the place. Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, Google Podcasts, you name it, I'm on there. So listen, I, of course, love to always give the advice, especially with the fact of helping my women, and I do help my men as well. But I want to definitely dedicate this topic, and I want to do this episode for my ladies. Now, we already know how it is when it's warm, it's hot weather, we're excited about summer, we're adventuring with different people, we're doing different things, etc., etc. But there are things that we need to be very mindful of, women, and I'm starting to see a lot of the same pattern happen within just the way that people are doing things. And when I say people, I mean people who are being predators, who are preying over your innocence, who are basically taking advantage of you, especially in this kind of season when it is hot outside and people are just doing any and everything, living their best life for the summer. Things can get a little bit tricky and they can get a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. So I just want to make sure that you ladies out there are living your best life, but also making sure that someone knows the worth of your life and are basically wanting to hopefully get to know you and maybe see things a little bit further in the future. But what we cannot keep doing, ladies, and I'm not going to put myself in this equation, unfortunately, because this ain't me. What I need some of my ladies to stop doing is giving pussy with no payment. Okay? And I don't want you to take this as in the fact of me trying to say you need to be more of a better whore or more within the tricks of, I'm not trying to tell you any of that at all. But what I'm trying to tell you is you're going to have to give yourself a little bit more respect than what you are doing, because some of you are declining on your respect factors and you're basically selling yourself short and you're actually selling yourself cheap. And I want to kind of help a little bit tonight with this episode to help you to get some clues, or more so to gain some clues from men to know that you are being used and all they want to do is use you. So I'm going to definitely cover that with you tonight. And also, if you do have any topics or anything that you are interested in or you'd like for me to address it, please, I invite you all to shoot me an email over to kreneshow@gmail.com. I would love to hear your feedback, your comments about the shows that you've heard so far. And again, I would just love to know that you're out there listening. So any little bit of love would just brighten my day by 1,000. Trust and believe, you cannot understand how much that means to me, knowing that I have new listeners out there and appreciating the information that I'm giving out. Because I definitely want you to use the things that I give you as advice. And I want you to definitely try to take at least one or two good nuggets from the things that I tend to deliver from my show. So for those of you who are new to the show, I like to, again, start my shows off by doing one simple thing. And that is, yes, ringing the bell. Now, when you hear that bell, ladies and gentlemen, that means that class is in session. So I hope you're ready to get schooled tonight, because this is something I'm very passionate about. All right. And now let me say this again. The topic tonight is based off of my women who basically are selling themselves short. So I'm titling this Pussy with No Payment. And we cannot keep walking around feeling as though that this is okay, ladies. So shall we begin? Yes, we shall. So listen to me. I just want to understand one thing. And I know that desperation is an issue amongst some women, especially with the fact that once you hit a certain age and you've been single for quite some times and you're trying to step yourself back into the dating game, we start to pretty much discount things that we no longer find as though that's important for us to have in a relationship. And yes, of course, some of us are just looking for a quick fuck, and some of us are actually looking for a real thing. But my thing is, what grinds my gears is that when you let someone continue to keep using you or taking your goodies and you're not gaining anything. So I want you to ask yourself, do you have a bill that needs to be paid? I'm sure you do. Do you have something that you'd like to invest in but just didn't have enough money to basically purchase? Would you like to take a vacation one day and really enjoy yourself? Well, if you do, then you need to know how to play the game to make sure that you're getting paid for the pussy you give out. Okay? Now, here's the thing. I'm not trying to promote the fact to say that, oh, yeah, you should be with several different partners, or, you should basically, of course, make sure that for every fuck you give out, you get a prize, which is financial. No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you're going to use your pussy for the greater good, my ladies, then make sure that you gain something out of it that you really can use. Not just a quick nut, not just the orgasm, but I'm talking about the simple fact that I got something that was given to me that I can now invest. Now, what I'm trying to say also is that some of my ladies out here who are in their mid-40s and older, who are done with the relationship bullshit and don't really want to actually trust a male any longer, they just basically are looking for a good time. But yet and still, some of y'all don't know how to ask. And some of you all don't know how to apply yourselves within gaining what it is that you want from the male figure. Now, keep in mind, men do this on a regular schmegula. Every day, they're always finding someone, especially when they're single, and even some of y'all who aren't single are finding someone that you can lay it down with and just, get a wet ass and get on up and just keep it moving within the rest of your day. All right. And if that's your thing, then great, because of the simple fact that I'm sure that you manipulated the situation to an extent to get what it was that you wanted from that woman. And yes, ladies, of course, if some of you all are still blind to the fact that men do lie and they say whatever it is just to get the cookie bag, then basically you're just as dumb as anybody else who would just think differently. So I want you to play this position a little bit more smarter. And I want you again to gain the things that you need as far as the keys on how to no longer get any benefits based off of what you're giving out. Now, question this. Do you feel as though that your product is good? Is it worth more than any other product that's out there on the market? Well, if so, then you need to make sure that you have your standards set to where you need to be as to get you where you want to go. So that means, ladies, we're not just trying to be out here getting fucked and flipped over and sucked off and being left alone. And in several days, you still haven't heard anything from this man. Okay. Now, what is that saying? Do you think this is your fault, or do you think it's just him trying to play the slow roll? Look, wait, no, think about it. I want you to think about it. Think for a minute. Quick second. What did he think? I'll tell you what he thought. He thought you gave him exactly what he was looking for, and he escaped anything more that you could be looking for from him. And now, yeah, maybe in another couple of weeks, he will call you back just to touch base, maybe throw you another story or another lie just to tell you, oh, I haven't talked to you because of such and such and such. And this came up and so did that and everything else and the ground. And it was a big earthquake. And oh my goodness, it's just like story after story that's just coming out. And it's not true. You have to, again, know your worth and value yourself. Now, again, here's the thing. You can get a wet ass from yourself. You can make it happen all by yourself. You really technically can go ahead. You already know where your pleasure spots are. You know how you like to be done. You know how you like to be touched. So you basically are the master of your happiness. It is, of course, always better when someone else is involved. But let me be clear. Let's stop giving away pussy with no payment. And don't technically always thinking that, of course, let me rephrase payment, because I really don't want you to get the wrong idea that I'm trying to shop you out to be a whore. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let you know that this is not free. And I want you to think about the fact on however or whatever way you tend to give it up will be what that man remembers on how easy it was to take. So you don't want to set yourself up in a situation where, again, it looks as though that this could be a revolving door, because you don't want any man to think that if you're easy with him, you'll be easy with any other man. So don't, again, put yourself in that equation either. So, it's things that it's like you have to evaluate and see the clues and what are you looking at and what are you looking for, because all of that is going to play a factor on how far you go. So it's kind of like in the simple fact that let me give you an equation or a little scenario. Let me set something up for you. You're out on a date. Okay, it's a nice summer night. Maybe y'all are out by the water listening to music. There's a live band. Womp, womp, womp. It's very sexy. You knew what you was going to wear because you knew the type of attention you wanted on this date. So now everything pretty much is going well, and it leads back to that one question: can I come back to your place? Or you are invited to go back to his place. And so you already know your answer, because ladies, we can figure things out usually within the first hour of talking to someone on a date of how far we're going to go. Now, do you think that dinner date was enough for you to be dropping your panties to give up something that you know that's better than any product out here on the streets? Or do you feel as though that it's worth more? Now that's the big question. So now that you have evaluated that situation, now you know how to go further within how are we going to basically place this invoice that needs to be taken care of. Okay. So maybe the conversation needs to go a little bit further. Maybe there needs to be another date, because maybe this dinner was not enough to take care of the invoice, the bill, shall I say. So maybe we need a little day trip now, or maybe we need a little special gift or so. And then maybe we need to see a little bit more in this man to know that he's more genuine within to our feelings and our personality and really wanting to get to know you. And we can see that they're not just playing the game, right? Exactly. So let me drop these jewels for you. If someone paid you within dinner, a date, and then they thought, let's say, oh, we're going to go back to my place, and basically we're going to have sex or whatever way you want to do it. I'm sure ain't no making love going to happen on the first go around. Y'all going to have sex. Y'all going to get through maybe some hard fucking or whatever the case may be. And let's say in the midst of all of this heat and passion and, this little temporary moment, he's like, trying to push your head down so that you can suck his dick. Okay, so you into that. Maybe you freaky deaky. Maybe you just all into putting somebody, balls and dick in your mouth for the first go around. I don't know, but that's your business. But then come around where you're looking to be pleased the same way, and you're now trying to push his head down towards within your little nether regions. And he's like, nah, I don't really do that, on the first go round. Who actually got treated? You or him? No, wait a minute. Think about it. Hold on. I want you to think. Like, who did get treated? Was it me or was it him? I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, it was him. He got treated. He got everything he wanted. He got the wet ass. He got his dick sucked. He got the bust off. And I don't even know how long this whole sexual encounter lasted. Was it a good 10 minutes? Was it a good 15 minutes? Because technically, I think in sex world, you start to count. You don't estimate. You misjudge the time. You might have thought you was laying out there for like a half an hour, but no, it was like 7 minutes. It really wasn't that long. So I want you to really, again, think about what it is as far as within your worth. Now, again, I want to let you know, ladies, because like I said, I'm always here to help everybody out when it comes to picking up clues and picking up signs. So I want to help you. Now, just because he wants to sleep with you, it doesn't mean he's a one-night stand guy either. But it's up to you to resist sex with him and get him to open up. This is, again, where you hold the power, ladies. We have power. Can you really tell if a man wants to sleep with you by looking into his eyes? But some people say, yeah, you can. And that's a woman, because we can always sense a man's romantic interest or feel his vibes. And it's just like our intuitions. Like, like if you're in a relationship and you can feel like something's not right, that you're being cheated on. So, I think there's a misunderstanding when it comes to men and sex. I do think most women are aware that men have dirty minds. And again, if you aren't, then I just told you something else new. And it's not a big shock. Trust me, this has been going on for ages, generations, decades, a long time. So yes, maybe the average man will look down someone's cleavage or fantasize about someone he knows, or generally say, to a friend like, hey, you looking shit, girl, like, woo. And especially with the hand gestures, grabbing their dick when they talk to you and, just looking like they could just cut you open and eat you up from the inside. Those looks, making it look real uncomfortable. No big deal, right? Yes, the fuck it is. It is a big deal. But that general awareness of sexuality, it does not necessarily mean that the guy wants to have a sexual relationship with every woman he meets either. And certainly, not all of his friends and acquaintances. So don't men have some standards? Well, yeah, they do. But even everyone's favorite, perv, like, take example, Quagmire from Family Guy. He has some standards. He does. He got a couple. Maybe just a little. Maybe it's 2. I don't know. I might be pushing it. But, let's say, what you might call some turn-offs, every guy may find maybe as a turn-on. Or deal breakers, shall I say. And trust in it. Trust and believe. It may take a while to find those limits, but at some point, every man does have the ability to say that this isn't working. It's not worth it. And they may just walk away from sex altogether. Now, we probably wouldn't entirely, know that to be truthful. If we said that most men are looking to fall in love, have sex with their true love, and rush off to the chapel, go get married, go on a romantic getaway, womp. Of course not. No, men want sexual experiences. And I think throughout their life, they want as many as they can because after, time passes within all people, things do not tend to work the same as they did when you were younger. So let's look at some things, or let me drop again some jewels to you all. And I want to give you at least a good 5, okay? 5 things that I want you to keep in consideration as to knowing that he just wants to sleep with you. And again, if you're cool with that, my ladies, it's fine. But I don't want you selling yourself short where you're not benefiting from this one night stand with this man. All right, so are we ready? Okay, let's do this. The first thing that I want you to look at is he's too eager to please you in other ways. Okay, so since his ultimate goal is to pretty much fuck you, he wants to please you in every other way that doesn't involve sex. So that means he puts in way too much effort to help you out. He laughs at all your stupid ass jokes that aren't funny. He invests maybe a little money in you. And he texts you randomly, and he looks forward to long conversations with you. See, that's that trickery shit. And you got to be careful with that. Because for them, the friendly interaction is what's enjoyable. But for the thirsty guy, it's all about waiting for the sex. The thirsty guy, ladies, it's all about waiting for the sex. All right, let's remember that. Number 2, he doesn't talk about other women. So let's say the last thing he wants to do is indicate interest in someone else, because that's a signal that, you should friend zone him immediately. Now, to a man who's not that into you physically, but still likes you as a friend, the opposite is true. But he can't wait to tell you all about his dates, his crushes, all the fantasies he has involving other women. But since he doesn't really want you, he doesn't care about shooting down any vibes either. But a man who wants sex is only thinking of you. Okay. Number 3. Out of nowhere, he mentions how good looking you are or makes another inappropriate comment. Okay, so this is kind of peculiar behavior, but it does happen all the time with shy guys or with guys who are scared to just come out and say what they feel. Introverts, gotta watch them. They're kind of a little weird and sneaky. But why do they spend the whole time avoiding sexual tension only to say something weirdly sexual, thereby creating an awkward type of energy? You know what I mean? So probably because shy guys, they know that they are coming across as sexually ambiguous. And also, wait a minute, they want to make a last minute effort to show you how they feel. So instead of a kiss or an honest statement, they just say something charming. Oh, you're so beautiful. Something about how hot you are, and oh, how good you looked in would look in lingerie, or if you want to ever make out, I'll be here for you. Come on. Simply put, guys who seem cool and then suddenly, they act really weird are definitely crushing on you. Okay, so you can definitely manipulate that. See, these are the things I want you ladies to be looking into and understanding. Number 4, here you are. Men who sexualize. Now, this is, the dude is checking you out, all right? He sexualized. You can't help but stare in just the ways that you think a horny guy would, all right? Men who sexualize you can't help but stare in just the ways that you'd think a horny guy would. Now, while sometimes they stare at your face or they gaze into your eyes, he will just as often glance at your chest, your boobs, your breasts, or your butt. And not just once by accident, but it's frequently. And as much as he probably tries to keep his lust inside, he can't help but let the demon out, because that's what it is. It's like a little horny toad demon that lives inside of men, and they will jump out. And trust me, you will see them. He wants you, and every moment that he sneaks a peek of your assets, he dies a little inside. Okay? All right. He just died a little bit inside. Okay. Wow. And number 5. That's my drum roll. He brags a little bit whenever he talks to you. So now you want to tell me about all these little things and the money and things you got? Yeah, like, be aware of a man who chases you, even if it's just in conversation. Like, a man who wants to just fuck you will not simply remain idle. He will woo you even in subtle little ways. Is he bragging about his career? Is he bragging about his hobby, the things he likes to do on the weekend or pastimes, or just other aspects in his life? You know, men with a strictly platonic type of interest have no reason to basically strut, shall I say, like this. But a man who wants to fuck you will want to tempt you with something. Deep down, they know company is not enough. It's not going to be enough for them. Just your company? He thinks he has to be, in quotes, special to win a fuck night with you. And so he's doing a little dance in hopes of turning you on. Okay? Keep in mind, though, please, ladies, keep this in mind. Just because a man wants to fuck you, it doesn't necessarily mean he just wants you for one night stands either. Okay? You know, men are easily tempted by sex, and that is factual. But their overall desire for you, it could be the start of a beautiful relationship. It just really, it depends on how compatible you two are and how hard they're willing to chase you. And are you going to set up the chase, ladies? And that's what I'm talking about. You giving out pussy and no payment. You got to let this build. You got to let them want to find the thrill in it and give you the chase. The sex appeal is how you get the attention. And it's how you basically want to keep it. Like, you know, in a sense, like a mystery. Like, let him try to find, like, you know, the Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Like, you know, let him be a part of the mystery machine to figure you out. You know, if you're thinking smart and you're strategizing, you can open his mind and you can also open his heart. And eventually you may find true love. But you gotta play the cards right. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot keep going on in this type of world that we're living in the times that we're living in today, to keep feeling as though that it's all right. Your body is your temple. Remember, any energy you share with someone on a sexual level, you're going to exchange that energy. And it's not like it goes away, but it definitely can mess you up. It can mess up your whole inner being. And that's why we have to remember that, you know, our cookie bag is very sacred to us. It holds a lot of power. We hold a lot of power, ladies. You know, we can do anything. We can control a situation. Remember, we're holding the goods. You can find a dick anywhere. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be good dick. And it's just like the fact that they can find pussy anywhere. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be good. But it's kind of like, you know, testing the waters and finding if it's just something that you really want to keep an investment in. But right now, as I'm speaking on this topic, it is hot. This is summer. People are on vacation. And they're ready to live their best life and do whatever they can to make sure that happens. And that's whether using you and hit it, quit it, and skedaddle on about their business and their day and act like they never met you, or you give them something to make them come back. And it's something that holds their interest and they're intrigued. And now they're a little bit more attracted to you every time. So just don't sell yourself short, ladies, is basically my suggestion to you. Pick up on the clues and the signs. Again, if you want to reach me, please do so. Hit me up. Follow me on IG at _K Rene Show. Follow me on Facebook at Kelly Rene. Also, shoot me an email at kreneshow@gmail.com. And you can check my website out as well. And that's kreneshow.wixsite.com/K Rene Show. So listen, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Oh, thank you so much for everyone tuning in and listening. I really appreciate the love and support. And again, I hope you enjoyed this topic and this episode. Please, again, give me feedback, comment, let me know what you think, and I will continue to give you the goods. Until then, it is me, K Rene, signing off, telling you all to have a good night. Bye.